Hello everyone, this is Scarzig and welcome back to another viewer replay review. Today's replay comes from a good friend of mine, MEgix. He wanted to share with me this game where he told me he was playing Pre-Shimzar Vetruvian. This match is actually only from a couple days ago. But if it is a Xerix deck with no Shim'Zar cards, I'm sure it's similar to the mid-range deck that I was playing a couple weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that deck fares, possibly against an opponent who is using some of these new Shim'Zar cards. So right away, getting rid of the Siphon Energy, just to get a better turn 1 opening. The Obelisk might have to do, and if I were him, I probably would have gotten rid of the Scarab and kept the Siphon Energy. Going second, I can understand how the Scarab is a bit more attractive, however. We'll see how this pans out. That's the smart thing here, to play the Obelisk in a defensive position, just to keep it away from that Rex. It is a 3-1, and having to play around that 3 damage sometimes is a bit tricky, and usually taking out the egg isn't that difficult either. Ooh, so right away we see the Ephemeral Shroud coming down to dispel the Ethereal Obelisk, and that is unfortunate. But the good news in this situation is that his opponent did not deny the center mana, so MEgix is able to ramp up, get the Dancing Blades to take out the egg, and that frees up his general to take out the Ephemeral Shroud. So that's a pretty decent punish, even though Dancing Blades, didn't get full value by taking out a 2-3 or something like that. This does allow him to have one on a 4-6 on the board to take out this Primus Shieldmaster, and I actually would not worry about taking another 3 damage with my general if I were him in this situation. A little bit of a worrisome play here. He used the Iron Shroud before he used the Dancing Blades. That's just a small mix-up there in sequencing. There was a chance the Iron Dervish could have appeared here and stopped the Dancing Blades from moving. So fortunately that did not happen, but you do want to make sure when you're using effects that spawn minions that you can't control their locations, to try to make as many of the movements that you are going to make ahead of time so that you don't body block yourself. Ooh, we get the second Ephemeral Shroud coming down to dispel the second Obelisk alongside the Greater Fortitude here. Let's see. MEgix is actually looks like he's going to preserve. Yeah, he's going to preserve the Iron Dervish. He's just going to have the Dunecaster do some work here, and that is an excellent trade. A 4-1 going into the 4-4 is some immense value. Even though these obelisks have been dispelled, forcing his opponent to deal with them, just developing 2-2 Ephemeral Shrouds, and really nothing more threatening than that, has allowed him to establish board control into this game. When your opponent has to deal with all of your targets that you're summoning, your obelisks and whatnot, inefficiently like that, it really becomes bothersome. If he was able to, play the Ephemeral Shroud alongside some other threats, the Primus Shieldmaster got dealt with exceptionally well because he had the Dancing Blades already on the board. It might have been good for his opponent simply to back away, play the Primus Shieldmaster in a defensive spot where it wasn't going to die instantly. I mean, he saved himself 6 damage. It was almost like he healed himself for 6 that turn, essentially, instead of developing a body. If he had that Primus Shieldmaster still on the board, there was a chance that he could have maybe buffed it with the, you see he has the Primordial Gazer here, he showed the Greater Fortitude earlier, so that is another play that you do want to try to keep your eyes out for, is if you're going to play your minion onto the board and it's just going to die instantly to whatever your opponent has on the board, unless whatever they have is going to hit you for lethal, you maybe want to just trade your HP to keep a body alive on board. Fortunately, we do see a little bit of a comeback here with the buffed Sunsteel Defender, but Grailmaster comes down, and with the Dunecaster, the Iron Dervish coming out to really buff this thing up. It's got the Primus Shieldmaster buff, Celerity, Provoke, and Frenzy. So that is an excellent finisher from MEgix here in this matchup. Both players actually played very well considering the cards that we saw. Just, I would agree that his opponent should have maybe moved away to keep that Primus Shieldmaster on the board. Who knows how things would have turned out if he had a way to deal with that Grailmaster after the fact. When you're playing as Magmar, try to hold on to your Egg-Morphs. Even in my new post-Shim'Zar Magmar decks, I'm still running the tried and true Blood Tier Alchemist Egg-Morph because it is one of your best removals. And I would like to thank MEgix here for giving us a really solid showing of pre-Shim'Zar Vetruvian. They were still pretty decent before they got all their new cards. It's really put them really in a good spot to be considered the top of the meta right now. And I'm sure a lot of you are tired of seeing the Nimbus and the Inquisitor Kron, etc., etc. So, very nice break from the usual stuff. And I am very glad to feature somebody who's been supporting my channel for a really long time. Thank you again, MEgix. And hopefully we'll see some more content from you here pretty soon. I hope the viewers enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.